Whisky.de, dem Treffpunkt feiner Geister. Und heute bin ich in Nordirland und zwar Nähe der Mourne Mountains. Das sind so die höchsten Gebirge, oder das höchste Gebirge in Irland. Und ja, das ist sehr, sehr ikonisch, denn früher, während der Prohibition, gab es hier so eine Schmuggelroute und jetzt haben sie hier eben die Killowen Destillerie gemacht. Die Game of Thrones Fans unter euch wissen vielleicht, ja, das waren hier viele Drehorte von Game of Thrones. Das war so ein bisschen das Westeros und da sind die ganzen Westeros-Szenen gedreht worden. Aber darum soll es heute nicht gehen, wir reden über Killowen. Der Gründer hier, das war ein Rückkehrer aus Australien. Er war lange Zeit in Australien und er hat in Australien eine Brennerei besichtigt, die einen sehr traditionellen, kleinen irischen Whisky produziert hat. Also irischen Stil an Whisky, ist natürlich australischer Whisky. Und er hat sich gesagt, hey, in meinem Zuhause, wo ich hier in Irland zu Hause bin, da gibt es sowas nicht. Und hat sich gesagt, ja, hey, das will ich machen. Und ist rumgegangen und hat wirklich einen alten Kuhstall gesehen, der richtig kaputt war und so. Hat sich das Gebäude besorgt, hat das renoviert und hat dann eine Brennerei reingesetzt. Ging sogar relativ gut, hat super funktioniert. Da, wo er jetzt dann sein Fasslager sich überlegt hat, es war zu wenig Platz. Sie haben sich dann noch sieht aus wie eine alte Garage, haben sich dann noch dazu kaufen können. Und das ist jetzt dann das Fasslager. Also sie haben eine kleine Expansion gemacht, konnten dann noch eine Brennblase dazu kaufen. Also die Brennerei hat in ihrem kurzen Dasein von 2019 bis jetzt auch schon eine Expansion erlebt, ist aber sehr, sehr klein. Und ja, jetzt lassen wir mal reingehen und dann schauen wir mal, wie da der Whisky produziert wird. Die Brennerei ist etwas kleiner und hat deswegen natürlich auch kleineres Equipment. Hinter mir ist die Malzmühle und die Maischen. Und ja, aber interessant komme ich erstmal zu den Zutaten, denn hier es ist eine sehr, sehr ländliche Gegend und sie haben sehr, sehr viele Bauern rumrum und sie kriegen von den Bauern, haben sie Verträge, beziehungsweise sie kennen die Bauern und bekommen von denen ungemälzte Gerste und die Melzerei haben sie auch sehr, sehr Glück. Eine große Melzerei ist sehr, sehr nah und die sind sogar echt Fan von ihnen und da können sie dann ihr eigenes lokales Getreide auch melzen lassen. Also sie haben hier echt eine tolle Situation, dass sie auch wirklich schön wirklich lokal, sehr, sehr lokal das Ganze produzieren können und nicht irgendwie ihre Gerste ganz weit weg und dann kommen die wieder zurück. Und ja, also sie haben auch ein bisschen eine Geschichte, dass man hier gar nicht mit großen LKWs reinkommen kann. Sie benutzen diese 25 Kilo Säcke und die werden dann einzeln hier oben eingefüllt und dann in einem Einrollenmühle zerkleinert. Und dann wird das Ganze hier eingefüllt. Sie benutzen hauptsächlich gemälzte, ungetorfte, nicht rauchige Gerste, eben auch ein bisschen ungemälzte Gerste, aber sie haben auch ein bisschen was anderes Getreide. Also es gibt ein paar verschiedene Mashbills und sie experimentieren ja auch noch ein bisschen. Also sie haben auch mal gesagt, ja, sie machen ein bisschen Poitin, da hatten sie ein bisschen Probleme mit dem Mais, weil der Mais sehr, sehr leicht sich mahlen lässt. Der wird sehr, sehr schnell, sehr, sehr mehlig. Und genau, und jetzt komme ich zu ihrem Prozess. Das hier ist eine alte, umgedrehte Milchbehälter von einem Milchbauern. Kann man hier so ein bisschen sehen, das kennt man vielleicht, wenn man irgendwo auf dem Land lebt. Die stehen dann doch öfters hier rum. Und da wird das Ganze eingefüllt, wird mit Wasser vermengt, mit heißem Wasser und dann muss man das Ganze eben rühren. Es gibt unten einen falschen Boden, also ein Sieb. Und hier machen die das mit solchen Paddeln hier. Und das ist dann auch ihr erster Veteran, der schon aus der jungen Firma ausgeschieden ist, Sammy the Saddle. Der hat nur von 2019 bis 2024, das steht auf dem Schild drauf, durchgehalten. Und der durfte jetzt auch schon in Rente gehen und aber immer noch in der Brennerei leben, an der Wand halt. Und da wird dann eben umgerührt. Und je nachdem, was man eben für eine Mashbill hat man irgendwo zwischen 2 Stunden, 2,5 Stunden. Sie machen es ein bisschen länger, sie sind da ein bisschen gemütlicher. Das ist auch weit weg von ihrem Bottleneck. Das heißt, die können es da auch locker ein bisschen länger liegen lassen und rühren dann halt immer mal wieder um. Sie haben keinen großen, guten Rührer, sie haben keine große Sprinkelanlage. Deswegen müssen sie viel rühren, um da auch wirklich dieses Mashing auch gut durchzubekommen. Und dann haben wir hier so circa 500 bis 1000 Liter, die dann weitergehen in die Fermentation. Ja, das Mash wird jetzt weiter transportiert in ihre Fermentationskessel. Und da haben sie auch schon gemerkt, sie haben ein paar Fressfeinde hier. Also wenn man den Fermentationskessel hinten dran lässt, dann wird, wenn man den Deckel offen lässt, auch gerne mal genascht. Deswegen Fermentationskessel nur in dieser vorderen Reihe. Ja, in der hinteren Reihe kann man dann irgendwelche Feints, Vorshots oder auch New Make machen, das mögen sie sicher nicht. Ja. Sie benutzen 3 IBC-Container ungefähr und die befüllen sie dann eben mit ihrem Mash und ihrer Hefe. Aber sie lassen sie gerne offen, wenn es nicht regnet, damit sie auch noch ein bisschen von der regionalen Hefe reinbekommen und fermentieren dann ziemlich lang, also zwischen 5 und 7 Tagen, also sehr, sehr lang und fermentieren dann durch, sind aber natürlich wegen dem etwas improvisierteren Prozess sind sie etwas weniger effizient und bekommen dann nicht so einen riesigen Output. Aber ja, das Ganze wird durchfermentiert und dann geht es ab in die Still. Die Brennerei hat 3 Brennblasen. Sie haben ihre Brennblasen benannt. Christian, Brock und Breed. Das ist die Spirit Still. Das hier sind die 2 Wash Stills. Christian hat eine Kapazität von 1000 Litern, Brock 800, Breed auch 800. Und sie werden natürlich nicht vollständig befüllt. Zum Beispiel Christian wird mit ungefähr 500 Litern befüllt. Und dann sind sie ganz besonders, sie haben direkte Befeuerung, also direkte Gasbefeuerung. Das ist halt wieder so eine traditionelle Art und Weise. Früher hat man dieses Ganze mit dem Dampfen noch nicht gehabt. Und ich glaube, es ist für sie auch relativ einfach, dass sie hier keinen Dampfgenerator brauchen. Und ist aber schön, sie sind aber weniger so, ja, wie man es kennt von den direkten Befeuerungen, wo man direkt befeuert und dann kommt da was Rassiges raus. Sie feuern nämlich die Flamme sehr niedrig und sehr, sehr langsam. Also sie destillieren hier so 12 bis 24 Stunden, also sehr, sehr lange Destillationszeiten. Und dann geht es weiter, nachdem sie durch ihre schönen Reflux Bowl durch sind, dünnen Leinarm, aber sie haben auch nicht so viel Größe an Brennblase. Also der Leinarm wird wahrscheinlich gut ausreichen für die Größe. Und im Kondensator haben wir keinen Shell and Tube, sondern wir haben einen Warm Tub. Und der ist nochmal ein bisschen anders, wieder sehr, sehr traditionell. Und er kommt dann würziger raus. Also Warm Tubs sind dafür bekannt, würzig zu sein. Kennt man von einigen Speyside-Destillerien. Und vor allem wichtig bei der Spirit Still, bei Breed. Und das ist so ein bisschen ihr Ding. Sie wollen einmal sehr, sehr langsam brennen, damit sie eben einen schönen, weichen, angenehmen Brand haben. Aber sie sind eben auch ein Stückchen würzig. Aus diesem alten, früher haben sie viel, viel würziger gebrannt. Und das ist so das Ding, was sie haben wollen. Sie wollen würzig, aber nicht zu würzig sein. Also wir werden es dann nachher noch mal ein bisschen probieren, was wir da an Rohbrand rauskriegen. Gut, wenn Sie dann fertig sind, kriegen Sie 90 Liter pro Charge, was Sie dann ungefähr ein Fass pro Woche abfüllen lässt. Und die gucken wir uns jetzt mal an. Die Brennerei hat noch ein zweites Gebäude und zwar das Lagerhaus. Wunderschön. Also es ist die Straße hoch, man geht so 3-4 Minuten, also was werden es sein, 200, 300 Meter. Und in dem Lagerhaus hier lagern dann alle ihre Whiskys. Sie haben nur ein Lagerhaus, also wenn das abbrennt, dann wäre alles weg. Aber es ist auch schon sehr, sehr voll. Also sie produzieren ja ein Fass pro Woche, also ca. 50 pro Jahr. Und jetzt ist das schon hier ziemlich voll, aber sie füllen mittlerweile auch schon was ab. Also sie sagen so, jetzt geht ein bisschen, wenn sie was abfüllen, tun sie wieder ein neues nachfüllen. Und was es hier so an Fässern gibt, wir haben auf der Seite eher so die Bourbon-Fässer. Da drüben haben wir noch ein bisschen Firkin-Fässer. Das hier unten sieht ein bisschen aus wie Weinfässer. Hinter mir die größeren hier sieht aus nach, was ist das hier, ein Sherry-Fass wahrscheinlich? Nee, ein französischer Eiswein. Und hier drüben noch ein großes Sherry-Fass. Also sie haben ganz viele verschiedene Fässer. Sie haben auch noch Rumfässer, dafür sind sie ein bisschen bekannt. Und hier oben steht groß drauf Ruby. Also haben schöne, viele verschiedene Fässer und experimentieren so. Und jetzt haben sie gesagt, jetzt nach einer Zeit haben sie dann alles mal richtig schön mit Schildern ausgestattet. Also klasse Handarbeit hier, alles mit Schildern und man muss sich merken, wo welches Fass steht. Denn hier gibt es keine Barcodes und große Datenbanken, die dann mit KI überwacht werden oder was auch immer, sondern hier ist alles wirklich noch Handarbeit. Ja, die Fässer lagern hier, wie gesagt, sie sind 2019 haben sie angefangen. Also jetzt gibt es dann schon einige Fässer, die dann so 5, 6 Jahre alt sind. Also langsam wird das Ganze hier interessanter, aber auch eben auch voller. Also sie müssen langsam abfüllen. Ja, und jetzt bin ich mal gespannt auf das, was ich gleich im Glas haben werde. Ja, das war's mit der Produktion und jetzt geht's weiter mit einem kleinen englischen Interview. So this was it with the production, and I'm standing here with Patrick Slowen. The distiller here. Did I pronounce it right?
You pronounced it perfectly well.
So, thank you very much for having us here at the distillery. It was really lovely seeing all the small distillery and the countryside.
Yeah, we really are one of Ireland's smallest distilleries. We don't make it up. I know when you come in, what you see is what you get with Killowen. So very small, very vibrant. We are small batch.
Yeah, you are really small. That's why we at the morning we actually drove past you and we were like house. Where's the distillery?
Yeah, I see. I noticed you drive past. And I was like, I think that might be there. I might go out and get them. Yeah. So we're really small. We've no signage or anything that'll allure you to the fact that we're a distillery, but I'm glad you found us.
So is the distillery doing any tours?
So the distillery does tours. Once at the end of every month we do a tour. We mainly rely on the fact that we need to be in production more than anything. So we do tours and you can book them online and everything. And yeah.
You can book them online on your website?
You can book them online at KillowendDistillery.com. Yeah, you can go on the website.
That's good. Yeah, if you want to see the distillery,
absolutely.
Go on Killowen.
Absolutely.
Distillery.com. Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
So, but I'm really interested in the whiskey.
As you should be. So what we've done, we've lined up a couple of whiskies for us to try. I hope you're not driving at the end of this.
No, I have a cameraman who's driving.
Excellent, even better. So yeah, we've a few different whiskies to taste. What we've done is we've lined up Killowen Irish single malt, 5-year-old, our rum and raisin. We've done a peated version of that for you as well, and then we have a very special Baron Tool whiskey. That's a whiskey that we distill on site, 100% at Killowen as well.
Okay, nice. So rum and raisin, that will be the first one.
That will be the first one.
I think it was from the left, right?
So I've gone from left into right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely. So
the last one's a peated, right?
The last one is a peated one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
exactly.
that's the right way
way
around.
Rum and raisin, it is a 5-year-old single malt that we source directly from Great Northern Distillery, which is just across the loch in Dundalk. We're very open to the fact that we source our whiskies. What we like to do is we want to empower the consumer. We want the consumer to know exactly what they're buying. We want to put it on the bottle that is proudly sourced from Great Northern. Yeah. But what we do is, it's a 5-year-old that is in an ex-bourbon cask. And then what we do is we take it back to Killowen and we finish it in a ex-dark rum cask. And we finish it with PX sherry butts. Hence why you get the name rum and raisin, because you'll get a lot of those very strong rum and raisin, dried fruit flavours.
Okay, I like it.
On the nose, you'll get that immediate dark rum sweetness. It's beautiful, and then it is cask strength, so it's 55%. We cask it. Yes, exactly.
I was about this. Kind of fresh.
Very, very fresh. Yeah, it'll not drink like a 55% whiskey. It'll be very, very smooth, and then what you'll get at the end is this lovely dried fruit flavour and a bit of fig. And then even at the end, you might get a little bit of melon. If you open it up with a bit of water, you'll get a little bit of melon. It's one of my favorites. But really I would say it has definitely that raisin touch to it. That massively
dried fruit.
So. Yes.
I mean rum, yes, but rum also has a bit of a raisin flavor. And
exactly.
So the raisin is really strong.
So you get a lot of raisin on the nose.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Let's have a taste.
And a bit of vanilla and caramel. Yeah, definitely.
Caramel, obviously. Yeah, but listen, Sláinte. Thank you so much. So you get that dried fruit. Have you ever had Christmas cake?
Yeah, it is a cake one. This is definitely a cake one.
So it's like a bit of Christmas in your mouth. It's really
I like
tasty,
it.
Yeah.
It really has a Christmas cake and feeling to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you can see why we called it. We went for the rum and raisin. We really played into that.
But also has a bit of a creaminess. So
yeah,
it's like I did once a cheesecake with raisins in it. Right. It reminded me a little bit of that. Just because of the creaminess and the raisins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then what I tend to find, I pick up a lot of fig with it.
Yeah.
I love a bit of fig myself, but I pick up a lot of fig and it finishes really nicely fig with me. But as I said at the start, you get, in my opinion, I think you get a lot of that lovely rum straight off the bat, and then it finishes with that lovely dried fruit at the end. And as I said, 55%, it's cask strength, doesn't necessarily drink with as a cask strength whiskey.
So you could also put a bit of water in it?
Put a bit of water in it. I actually find when you open it up with a little bit of water, you get more of a melon finish, which is really lovely, sweet melon
So more
finish.
fruitiness then?
Absolutely. It opens up that bit of fruit, yeah.
So I've seen a lot about, you know, the distillery, and
yes.
So the idea behind that, what was the idea to make like a distillery here?
Yeah, so the founder of the company, Brendan Carty, had this idea when he lived in Australia, and he visited a distillery, I think, in Tasmania. And the distillery was actually, what they were doing is they were distilling in the old Irish method of distilling whiskey. So the ethos of Killowen is what we try to do is we try to bring Irish distilling back to its origin. So we want to bring it all back to how it used to be made. So what you'll see, what you have seen is we do very long distillations in copper pot stills that are directly flame fed. We do them for 12 to 24 hours. Yeah, very inefficient. But it gives the amount of interaction with the copper that we want, that we get that lovely copper pot still spice. And then what we do is we still use the likes of worm tube condensers. Nobody uses worm tube condensers anymore, really, except for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the amount of tradition you have there behind that, and I would think that back in the days when you had like non-parliament whiskey or like illicit Poitin, like back in the days when the farmers they had the milking and let's use that for mashing.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So like what we do is we do it all by hand. Nothing's really done by button. We actually mash by hand. Like you'll see us paddling away and mashing by hand. Yeah, so it's long, it's arduous, but at the end of the day, you get this lovely.
So how does the place smell when it's peated?
Like a smokehouse. You normally get this. There's always a smell of lovely sweet tea almost about the place. Obviously, when we're peating, smoky sweet tea. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is also peated.
It is peated. So what we've done, what we've lined up next is it's rum and raisin again, but it's peated. So it's the same, but we've gone for a nice peated version because we've had a lot of success with our rum and raisin. So we thought we'd try and peat one. And what you're going to get from this, once again, very similar, obviously very similar to the rum and raisin. You'll get that nice sweet, but you will get a lot of that smokiness coming through.
A lot of the whiskies usually hide their peat smoke on the nose, but this one doesn't.
Right off the nose, you get a lot of peat. So once again, all sourced from Great Northern Distillery, as it's the same as the rum and raisin, 5 years.
Okay, but now I get the similarities.
Yes.
You have to get a bit of accustomed to the peat.
We like to view this one as if you're not massively into your peated whiskies, this is a really good gateway.
No, okay.
If you're anything like myself, I'm not big into peated whiskey.
Okay.
This is perfect for me because once you have it, you'll still get the nice flavour notes and then a lovely hit of peat at the end, which I think works really, really well.
Oh, I like it.
It is nice, isn't it?
But it's again, it's not one of these Isla Marine.
No,
it's more of a bonfire.
Exactly. Yeah.
Together with that sweetness, rum raisin. Yeah, I like it.
Sitting beside a fire.
But it's also 55, right?
It is. It's 55. It's 55 as well. Yeah. But not like as you said, the Isla. Some of the Isla whiskies, as lovely as they are, can be incredibly overpowering if you're not into your peat.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have an Isla whiskey, then it's kind of Isla all the way to the end of the evening, but because you don't taste anything else.
Your first drink is going to be smoke, your last is going to be smoke. Whereas this, you can jump in between very nicely. This is a really good introduction to peated whiskey.
Yeah, I think a little break after that would be good.
Nice, isn't it?
It has a good amount of peat. It's not like a light peated, it's a good peated whiskey, but it's not an overpowering peat. Yeah.
I think with this, the peated really comes through at the end. You get a lovely feeling of peat at the end.
Okay,
try? Yeah, sláinte again. Thank you.
It's actually okay. Now get a bit of a.
Now you get the peat.
Bit of 5.55, but it's first it's a bit sweet and all that kind of stuff from the first one. And now here comes a lot of peat.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of peat.
You get that lovely sweetness, you still get that nice fresh, almost like a coconutty smack. And then that lovely bit of peat works its way down at the back.
But it's kind of a really dark kind of peat, like really chimney, a bit of earthy touch to it even,
It's
without the iodine flavor and none of the seaweed and all that kind of Isla stuff.
Exactly,
but it's a earthy kind of touch to it, and yeah, I think I have to say a little bit hard to have that sweet rum and raisin. It's really a big turn from the first one.
And even though it is obviously the exact same, except for the fact that it's peated barley, but you still, when you drink it, you still finish with almost a completely different drink.
Yeah, the thing is a completely different drink.
Yeah, it is.
It's completely. Yeah. The thing is, the first one you have that rum raisin.
Yeah.
And the second one, it's just a note.
Yes,
it's just a side note.
You get a sweetness, and then it's mostly the peated on the back, but
it's the peated and with the rum raisin on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And who doesn't like a bit of rum and raisin on the side? Yeah, it's actually one of my favorites because, as I said, peated's not necessarily my cup of tea. Whereas I find this is something that I could easily sip on, and once again open it up with a bit of water, and it brings out a lot more of that fruity flavour as well. So if you're missing that from your first original rum raisin, add a bit of water, it brings it all right back, and you still get that nice peated flavour.
Yeah, I like it.
It is lovely.
So you're a distiller here. So
I'm a distiller here.
How is it work? I mean, I've seen a lot of the big distillers and distilleries, and the distillers are sitting there at a computer. Looks good. Looks good. No warnings. Yeah. Let's go for a walk. So how is it here?
It's a bit different here. Definitely because our stills are running right now. And I will absolutely need to go check to see.
Okay, so we'll have a little break then.
If it's okay to have a quick break, I need to go check because obviously they're still flame fed and I need to check on them every couple of minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. They're actually on. They're good. Yeah, I've turned them off. Yeah,
okay.
they just finished. So
they just finished. Okay.
Just finished, so I had to turn them off. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So you're the distiller here, so you obviously have to check the stills, but like with the paddling, how is that?
It's it's great. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, but it is completely different to kind of any other distillery. As you said, a lot, or you press a button, you read magazines, you watch TV. This is very, you have to be on site all the time because it is flame fed long distillations. We want to make sure everything's going right. When we're doing our mashes and our mashing, like we have to use paddles. We use old traditional methods of making whiskey. That's what Killowen whiskey is. So we still mash by hand. It's very warm. It's arduous work.
Okay.
But it's worth it at the end. It's worth it at the end.
Okay, and is it like then a lot of pumping, or you have like
There is a lot at any given time. There's about 15 things that are happening at once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you have to be obviously on point the entire time. But once you get into a rhythm, everything should line up. But we're prone to mishaps every now and again, like everybody is.
What I like the idea is what you said is that you're not going for 100% consistency.
Yeah, exactly. So the method of even our fermentation, for example, what we do is once we have our wort, we bring it outside and we ferment it in the open. We do open top fermentation. So we let the indigenous wild yeast of the area interact. And you're never, ever going to have 100% the same as what the last one was because it's always going to be different depending on what the natural yeast is.
Okay. And what I didn't have inside the video is like your cuts.
Yes. So we do it, once again, we do it a little differently to everybody else, but we do it traditionally. We make all our cuts by nose. So we cut heads by nose, and we know when to cut our hearts by nose as well.
So when you had training, there was like, this is what you need.
This is what, exactly, yeah.
Look at this.
Exactly, this is good, this is not so good. Yeah, so what I find is once you kind of go into your tailsy part, you get more of a metallic flavour on the back of your nose. That's what we're obviously, once we kind of get that, we're like, right, our heads are done, for example, and then we cut it like that.
Yeah, but you're not like, I think I've seen 3 distilleries now who do it by nose.
Yeah.
The first one was really about continuity.
Yes.
And the thing is, you're not like continuity, is you're like just craft distiller.
We have it, we know.
We know where it's bad, but
Exactly,
you're not like, it has to be exactly like the 100,000 casks before that.
If, for example, we are 0.5 of percent out of what our last one was. That's fine by us.
Okay.
Because we do it by nose. That's our ingenuity. That is our trademark. We like to do it as traditionally as possible. That's how people in Ireland used to distill whiskey.
I mean, they didn't have the tools,
They
right?
didn't have the technology. Like we obviously do check our ABVs, we do, but we do it by nose to make sure, and that gives us our uniqueness.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
I like it as well. It's a good way of doing it.
So, and the third one now is
so the third
what
one's
is that
yeah. So the third one here is it's called Baron-Tool whiskey. That is the
Baron-Tool.
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 So Baron-Tool is it's an Irish word. It's a Gaelic word. There's no exact translation into English, but its closeness is truth to origin, true to origin.
Okay.
And that is encompassing entirely of what Killowen is as a distillery, because we want to empower you, the consumer, to know exactly what it is that we're doing.
Okay.
So
the distillery is called Killowen, and the brand will be Baron-Tool.
Exactly. So the whiskey that is distilled on site is Baron-Tool whiskey. So one thing that we do a little differently, once again, is that in each bottle of our Baron-Tool, we will actually give you a little card. And that card will entail exactly what our mash bill is. It'll tell you exactly how we ferment it, and we tell you everything it is that we're doing. There's not many distilleries out there.
Okay, here's like the mash bill.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that the parts on that?
So that's per bag. So we tell you exactly per bag what goes into our mash bills.
Wait, this is like the bags you counted into the
into the
mill.
milk grinder. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
and then fermentation. Okay, this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
so it's very rare to see distilleries now that would show you exactly what they're putting into their whiskey and how they're doing their whiskey. Whereas we like to go, because it's it's the ethos of the company that we do. We want to be as truthful, as honest with the consumer as possible.
Nice.
It is nice.
I like that. I like
so
that. Oh, and you got some stuff on there.
And we
as
have
well.
some stuff on the bottle as well. So yeah, so what we're going to try here is this is a 3-year-old that we placed into heavily charred Pinot Noir casks, Pinot Noir Firkin casks. The reason I pulled this one out is, as I said, it's kind of my personal favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like having a drink of it, but this is also obviously cask strength. So this is obviously, I believe it comes in at 62.3.
Oh, okay.
So it's obviously a bit stronger. Now, the main thing with our Baron-Tool whiskey is we run everything through copper pot distillations. We run it through warm tub condensers. So we like to extract as much of that copper as possible, and that gives it that really famous peppery copper pot spice. That zestiness that you get from a copper pot, you will taste it massively in this.
So you put it in the barrel at 63.5?
So it'll go into the barrel at about 68, 68.5, and then over time, obviously, it'll reduce in a bit of ABV, and then we pull it out at what it is. We don't like to, as I said, we don't water down our whiskies. We give you, the consumer, the opportunity to do that if you want. So the one that we're having is 62.3 degrees.
Okay, that's a bit hefty.
It is it's a little hefty, but it'll not drink like that.
Okay.
Okay, I promise this. So, as it immediately you kind of get that pepper on the nose. You'll get the copper pot spice straight off the nose.
But it's a dark pepper.
It is.
But I think maybe also I got the Pinot Noir.
You get nice sweetness from the Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir, but also kind of like a. But it's peated, right? It
has
has a bit of a dark cloud all above it.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. It is peated.
It's a wild bunch. This is like you have the pepperiness, you have the sweetness, but more of a wine, and you have the clouds of smoke in there.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a really complex spirit, but at that percentage, at that high percentage, you still get this massive amount of flavour and taste. The sweetness from the Pinot Noir cuts through lovely, and then you get a lovely peat at the end, and then you're left with a really lovely pepperiness and zestiness.
The pepper, once you get used to the smoke, the pepper really comes stronger for me.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody got different experience with smells and everything, but for me it was like first the smoke, and then here comes the pepper, and the Pinot Noir with all that.
That lovely kind of red peppercorn that you can
use. It changes. Before that, it was just dark, and maybe it was a bit of a peat, but now it's like you know that when you have the mixed peppers in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That feels like that.
That's exactly what it is. But as I said, this is
red pepper.
This is my favorite.
Pepper.
Yeah,
I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Here, sláinte. These are the noises that we want people to make when they drink our whiskey.
Oh, this is something different. Whoa.
So you get that lovely viscous note. It's lovely and viscous. You get that lovely pepper, like straight away, lovely amount of pepper. And then the sweetness of that Pinot Noir comes through just so nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the sweetness of the Pinot Noir is not dominant.
No, not at all. Not
I
at
think
all.
with, what was it, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
You've captured nicely, I think, that pepperiness, that... Yeah, I like it that you have that, because like a spicy whiskey, yeah, they are out there.
Yes, yeah,
but
exactly.
they're not that common, and especially I think in Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely, and we get that spicy pepperiness from our distillation and from our method of doing things. As I said, we don't do things in the traditional sense. We do very long, drawn out distillations because we want that interaction with the copper, so we get that nice spice at the end.
Oh.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a really lovely, lovely whiskey.
But it's definitely not for a beginner.
No,
this is not a beginner one.
This is not.
Whereas this one, awesome for beginners.
Absolutely.
This one is then a nice following. This one is an expert.
This is your expert level.
This is your expert level because
Expert
it's
level.
spicy, peaty, and has that nuances of the Pinot Noir below that you can. And
Exactly.
the cask strength above 60% now.
60, 62.
But I lovely.
It sums up Killowen. We bottle historically with a rebellious twist. Is the best way to kind of describe how we do it. We do everything as traditional as possible, but we like to add our own spin onto things with the likes of a heavily charred Pinot Noir.
I would be really wondering how close you would come to like an old whiskey that was smuggled through here.
Well, that's what we do. So
I would really like to know how close you would come to it. Probably, but they would probably be much more horrible.
well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, back in the days, like
Yeah.
4 shots and tails, I'm not quite sure if they were really that good like you.
Yeah, well,
So-
they might not have had as much training.
And probably be like, no, we're not throwing that away. We're selling that.
Yeah, exactly. Sell. Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit spirity. I don't care. It just
It's
sells
perfect.
well. It's prohibition time.
Get it out.
Get it out.
But-
Yeah, so I guess you are like higher quality than back in the days. But except for that, like the spiciness, the peatiness, that really would be like back in the days.
Absolutely, yeah. You would have got that. And listen, we do as much work as we can with historians, with history historians, to try and find old mash bills. Like these mash bills are not unique to us; they are old Irish traditional mash bills.
Yeah, let's see the mash bill.
Absolutely,
I was amazed about the like unmalted barley, smoked malted.
Yep.
So three unmalted, 7 smoked malted barley, then 2 oats,
2 oats, so you get that nice creaminess.
1
from
bag of wheat, and 1 bag of rye.
Perfect. Perfect. And this is,
One
as I
bag
said,
of rye in there.
we try to keep as traditional as we possibly can, and this is how we used to distill whiskey in Ireland, and this is why we do it today.
What are you allowed to call it the pot still, or are you allowed to? It's just an Irish.
So this is the issue. Pot still. This is called. God, I'm actually not sure.
But it doesn't say pot still anywhere.
No,
so
it wouldn't
guess
be
will
pot still.
Yeah,
So this is.
regulations are too tight, I think.
Regulations are very tight. So with that, for example, that mash bill was 2 bags of oats. So we're only, if you were to call it pot still now, it'd be less than 10%, whereas I think that's a little over, so you get that more creaminess.
Yeah.
But legislation, hopefully, in the near future will be changing. So.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot during my visits. Like they will change it at some point.
Yes, it will be. Hopefully in the next maybe year or 2. So you might be able to see. Hopefully that's what we hear, but we don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So I think we're through. Do you have
Perfect.
anything else?
Absolutely not. I could have another drink if you want, if you want one.
So no, but I think thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
That was a really lovely visit here.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And if you found this video interesting, then please feel free to share it with your friends. And if you like these whiskies, then have a look at Whisky.de and Whisky.com. You can actually buy them there, because it might not be the same as these, because they are small batch and change.
Small batch, yeah. Small batch and changes.
Yeah, and thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you.